Hello and welcome to another 9-minute Bible study. Our starting point, Acts chapter 1, and let's start with verse 5. For John truly baptized with water, but you shall be baptized with the Holy Ghost not many days hence. What's about to happen? Jesus is about to ascend to the right hand of the Father. The disciples have been told by Jesus to wait in Jerusalem until they are baptized with the Holy Ghost. The disciples, they ask next, Lord, verse 6, will you now at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? Understand the thinking of these men. They thought that Jesus would restore the kingdom right then and there. Now Jesus is about ready to ascend back to the Father, and the kingdom has not yet been restored in Israel. So these disciples, they want to know, when is this going to happen? As in, is it going to happen in the next 5 minutes? What was Jesus' response? Verse 7. It is not for you to know the times and seasons which the Father has put into his own power. In other words, it's not for you to know. This is a Father decision. At this point, God the Father is the only one who knows the timeline about the restoration of the kingdom. He is the only one that knows about the timeline of the rapture of the church. He's the one who knows about the timeline of the second coming. He's the one who knows the timeline about everything. At this moment, when Jesus said this, he doesn't even know the time or the season. Only the Father does. Now, what is Jesus doing here? He is getting his disciples to focus on the task at hand. And the task at hand is not the long-term future. The task at hand is the short-term go to Jerusalem and wait for power. That's the plan. What Jesus wanted them to do was to focus on the task at hand. For the end-time church, our call is the same, to focus on the task at hand. We are to, yes, know about the times and the seasons that are around us, but we are to focus on our task at hand, which is what? Building the church, witnessing about Jesus, winning souls to Jesus. That's the task at hand. Jesus, he drives us home in Acts 1:8, where he says, but ye shall receive power. After that, the Holy Ghost has come upon you. So first, they will be baptized with the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost will come upon them. Then what? You shall receive power. So when the believers are baptized in the Holy Ghost, they are going to begin to operate in Holy Ghost power. What we see in Acts 1:8 is actually the blueprint of what's going to happen in the early church. How the church is going to grow and expand. Jesus said what? First, witnesses unto me in Jerusalem. This will take place in Acts chapter 2. Really, it continues through the rest of the book, but the main emphasis in Jerusalem is really chapters 1 through 7. What begins in chapter 8? The next phase, which is what? Judea and Samaria. The disciples would be witnesses of Jesus in Judea and Samaria. You can say that's chapter 8 and 9. What happens in chapter 10? The uttermost parts of the earth. The gospel goes to the Gentiles. And from that point, all mankind Jew or Gentile, they are open to receive the gospel of Jesus Christ. This verse is a blueprint of what's going to happen. The gospel will be preached in Jerusalem. It will be preached in Judea. It will be preached in Samaria. It will be preached in the othermost parts of the earth. If you look at churches when they are at the beginning, it really works the same way. Ministry in the church, in the neighborhood. Then it expands to other neighborhoods, some familiar, some unfamiliar, and then it continues to expand and expand and expand until it has more of a global reach. This is how ministries really start. Small at the beginning, regional focus, but then expanding and expanding and expanding as the power of the Holy Ghost operates in the church, as the gospel is preached to those who have not yet heard the message, just as the believers are what? Discipled or trained. Acts 1:8 is really the blueprint for any church. 1. Receive the baptism in the Holy Ghost. 2. Operate in power. 3. Witness in your own region. Then witness in the regions around you. Then witness throughout the world. This is the blueprint of the church in one verse. Now this is what the disciples were to focus on from this point on. Not looking at when the kingdom is going to come. The kingdom will come when it comes. We are to be ready to be caught up to be with Jesus at all times. But the task at hand is still in front of us. Building the church. Operating in Holy Ghost power. Witnessing about Jesus. Discipling the believer. This is the task at hand. And we are to, yes, be tunnel vision regarding this. It really doesn't matter what's happening to the right or to the left or the north or the south or any direction. Our job as a church is to stay focused on the call that Jesus has given to us. Just like his focus here is on the disciples and the believers staying focused on the call that Jesus gave them. What's going to happen because they're going to stay focused? They're going to take the gospel by the time the book is over throughout the entire Roman Empire. What's our focus? To take the gospel, allow the Spirit to lead us and guide us, and then have not just a local and a regional effect, but being able to reach the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Our call is to stay focused, and when we stay focused, we will accomplish what Jesus wants us to do. And we'll pick up with this in our next lesson.